Hey guys, welcome back to another video. I'm not gonna keep you too long. I'll let you start the video and enjoy it. But thanks. I was surprised that 15% of y'all got to the end of the video. So, like I say, if you enjoy, like, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Our story begins in Manhattan, New York, USA. As we get a bird's eye view of the city, we see that it has a menacing atmosphere as the sky gives off a red glow, and the city that was once lively now lays quiet. And in the middle of the streets stands groups of people who seem to be wearing strange armor and carrying strange weapons. But they seem to be waiting for something. Bling! Starting demotion prevention. The mission is defense, summoning monster of the inn, Behemoth. When the notification ends, we see a giant creature tear open a portal in space and step through as the ground shakes and the people with weapons look on with despair in the face of the Behemoth. It's here, the Behemoth. Bling. Defeat the Behemoth before it ends the world. Everyone stay in formation. If we lose here, the world ends. You see, my viewers, the game is called BattleNet. It began in 2010. At first, it was a competition between nations, but everything changed when a space league opened up in 2022, and a fight for survival against other creatures in space began, and the Earth's representatives continued to lose. It's now 2023, and there's only 10 nations on Earth, putting Earth at risk of destruction. As we go back to the battlefield, we see the people with weapons standing up against the Behemoth as it begins to charge up a devastating attack, attempting to blow away anything that stands up against it. But before it can release its attack, we see a man hovering above the creature. It takes notice and redirects its attack, blasting him with a massive beam, but the man dashes through the attack and punches the creature, destroying it entirely in one hit. As he stands atop the Behemoth, they receive a mission clear notification. We are then introduced to the character, named Seong Jihan, martial saint, ranked 7 in the world. On the roof of the building nearby, we hear a blonde man screaming, "Our beloved nation, America has won again in this battle. This historic moment will be remembered by all citizens and your master, I, Baron." We are introduced to Baron Williams, America's first guildmaster and #1 hunter. A woman with long blonde hair and what looks to be a priest garments flies down to Jihan, while Baron talks about how powerful the Behemoth was, and that all of the hunters who came near the corpse either passed out or lost their minds, but not Jihan. As we see Jihan with a missing left arm, while the priestess named Sophia, America's third-ranked hunter, runs up to him in order to heal his wounds. She looks at him with worried eyes and attempts to heal his arm. As she begins to heal his arm, the reward from the boss spawns. The Baron tells them to back away from the chest, that this is something that he should handle and give out himself. As the other hunters look on with annoyance at the fact that Jihan killed the boss and should be given the reward, Sophia, surprised and dumbfounded, protests that Jihan should receive the reward and asks why isn't he giving it to him. The Baron replies, the reason is why, because he's not American. Even if he killed the beast, he's still not a real American, and he's just a useful dog. Sophia attempts to stick up for Jihan, but he sighs with expectation and thinks that it's fine, that he doesn't care about the drops, because in his eyes, he deserves this, because he's someone who abandoned his country. And because of that, even when he climbed in the rankings, he wasn't recognized as an American. But that didn't bother him as much as the guilt that he survived alone. But he stops reminiscing and continues to heal his arm. Bling! Game over. Announcing the results of the Bronze League demotion mission. Clear condition. Survive with more than half of the people. USA, successful. China, successful. Japan, fail. Russia, fail. As everyone becomes worried about the outcome of humanity's failing, the system announces that they will be facing off against another race who has failed the demotion prevention mission, and it looks to be the orcs. As everyone looks worried about the battle, Sophia pronounces that all they need is Jihan to the Baron, that he won the last battle against the orcs. The Baron says no and selects a group of America's elite to fight the battle without him. As they are summoned into the arena to fight the orcs, the Baron proclaims to himself that they don't need Jihan for this, that he can handle this alone. As he charges up an attack and jumps towards the orcs, and within seconds his head is cut off, as his team and the rest of the world looks on with despair. Jihan is unfazed by this. A notification goes off as we are zoomed into the Baron's lifeless head. Bling! Human is dead mismatch. Then, without missing a beat, each one of his team members are slaughtered left and right. Bling! Humanity has lost. Being demoted from Bronze League, no lesser league available. Humanity will be expelled from the Space League. After the notification ends, a black hole appears and begins to swallow the planet as everyone screams in despair. Bling! Humanity deleted. Error detected. There are still humans remaining. We see our protagonist floating in space. Bling! Nameless divine arts is resisting deletion. We begin to hear creatures in the void talking about Jihan, saying how interesting it is that he resisted deletion. They say that he's weak but has potential, and votes amongst themselves to give him another chance. Bling, votes are in. Player Jihan will return to humanity's first entry era. Now on to the interview. Jihan is violently woken up from his slumber on his couch by the television. Oh, my head, what happened? I definitely read that I was going back to the first era. Jihan notices that he woke up in South Korea, 2020, before the Space League first began. Jihan reveals, in fact, that he traveled back and opens up the status window and realizes that he's level 2 and thinks that this is an opportunity that he can use to exploit the information from his past life to change the future and protect humanity. Chapter 2. At this point in time, Korea had a solid foundation, and there were only 11 top-ranked players in the world, and Korea possessed the third top-ranked player, Yoon Sejin, the Sword King, Korea's pride and joy. Thanks to him, Korea was able to stay amongst the top ranking, but in July of 2020, he dejected in order to go to Japan, shocking all of Korea's BattleNet. And that is the day that Jihan returned to. After his defeat, Korea began to face repeated defeats and fell through the rankings, and no one appeared to make up for the loss. While Jihan thinks about how brutal BattleNet is, a notification pops up in front of him. Jihan states that in the beginning it was a game, but it became a war for survival 2 years later. After the Space League began, it was a death league. If someone lost their life in the game, they would lose their life in real life. And for the countries who fell into the lower ranks, monsters began to appear, and a one-sided massacre would take place. And that's exactly what happened to the Koreans. And those who survived gathered and began to say that if the Sword King was there, things wouldn't have turned out like this. That's just how important he was. And it's revealed to us that he was Jihan's brother-in-law. Jihan punches the mirror in rage and wonders if things would have been the same if his sister was alive. In the next panel, we see Jihan looking at his stats, realizing that he's bronze level trash, and as he takes a closer look, takes notice of a gifted skill he received called Wanderer's Eye. You are able to see the details of other players. You see, at the age of 18, everyone's able to become a player, but only a select few receive gifts that awaken their true potential. After a player has awakened, Jihan thinks that his stats are horrendous, that they belong to a level 1, but he's level 2. Then he remembers he got drunk the night before and drank a level up potion. While looking through his menus, he also notices that he has 100,000 achievement points and wonders where they came from. He then decides to check his inventory and finds a golden points exchange card and becomes extremely surprised. It realizes that it's only an item for him. He touches the gold card and unlocks the achievement store, and it shows that the shop, the status window, and even class slots can be upgraded. He wonders if selections become available after upgrading the store and decides to try it. Bling, the achievement store is level 2. Expansion to the inventory has been added. Not this one. Bling, store level 3. Adding nickname has now been added. Another thing that's useless right now. I only have 50,000 points at the moment. If I upgrade the store to level 4, I will only have 10,000 points. I only have 2 choices, either upgrading the store or buying all of the items. Damn, I'll just try again. Bling, store upgraded to level 4. Urgent restoration has been rewarded. Jihan looks at the screen with surprise and sighs. This is why I can't stop gambling. I just hit the jackpot. Jihan then goes to a secret room in his house and uses a thumbprint scanner to open the door. We see that it has a gaming chair that's connected to BattleNet. He then sits down in a chair and opens up his inventory. It's revealed to have a broken item that looks to be a broken writing brush. He looks at it and uses urgent restoration and restores the item. It's revealed that this item holds a link to the martial god. Bling! BattleNet is about to start in 10 seconds. Jihan scrambles to use a brush and attempts to combine all of his stats, HP, agility, and strength in order to create the skill that allow him to get into the top 7 in his past life. Side note, my listeners, I'm going to refer to the future he lived as his past life, but this is a regression manhwa, so don't be confused. As he's attempting to combine the skills, the timer runs out, and he's transported into BattleNet. Standing in the arena with the rest of the players, he notices that he made it in time, that he was able to unlock the marshal's power stat. He then receives a limited quest. Bling! Achieve number 1 in the tournament, and as a reward you will receive 1,000 achievement points. As he's looking at the quest, a player jumps up in the air and attacks him from behind, but Jihan, with no effort at all, catches the blade and thanks the player for giving him his first kill. Guilds. Guilds is a group of people that trains and manages players. As Battle.net begins to become even more popular around the world, every country starts to put their resources into growing valuable hunters. Well-known companies begin to aggressively invest into small and large guilds in order to create strong players to compete in leagues. Gangnam Bronze League is where rising stars from each guild make their debut. In the next panel, we focus on a guy with black hair and a red jacket that looks to be a swordsman. Gangnam League is something else, huh? Let's not get nervous. It'll be okay. Luck's on my side compared to everyone else. This guy name is Do Hyuk-gu. He's with the Divergent Guild. It's a guild that has many rising stars, and Do was able to join them after obtaining the A-rank gift Agility. As Do looks for his next opponent, he looks around and makes the executive decision not to touch them, realizing that staying alive is the most important thing. As he looks around for a weak opponent, he finds one guy standing in a tank top and sweatpants looking at his menu, and Do realizes that he's just the opponent he was looking for and prepares to attack the unsuspecting newbie. As he does a jump attack aimed at the person, prepared to get a free kill, his sword suddenly is stopped with 2 fingers, and we see that as Jihan. As Do looks on confused, he wonders how he caught his sword, even though his speed is A-ranked. That's some confidence you got. You came to participate in a bronze league with that gift? The guy in the red begins to scream at Jihan, telling him not to look down on his gift. It's an A-ranked gift. Do then decides not to hold back against Jihan and uses his fastest speed. He dashes in close to Jihan, aiming at his neck, but he ducks and continues to dodge those attacks. Jihan realizes that his regression is weighing on him. That being level 2, he's not as fast as Do, but because of his past combat experience, he's able to predict his attacks. Jihan then knocks his sword out of Do's hand and uses it to eliminate him. Next time we meet, I'm gonna win. Just you wait. Bling! You have taken the first kill in the tutorial. You have attained 100 achievement points. Now that I'm warmed up, let's get things started. If I want to come in first, I need to kill 5 more and maintain my spot in the leaderboards. Jihan looks over and notices that no one's going after the monsters because one monster is worth 1/10 of a point. So most people would ignore them and go after players. Going after them is just stupid. Bling! Annihilate the orc mob, 500 achievement points. Jihan realizes that 500 achievement points are worth it and decides to let loose and dashes straight for the orcs. They point at him and say that a naked human is running towards them. 2 orcs prepare to throw axes straight towards Jihan, but he's prepared for the attack and catches the axes to aid him in his fight. He teaches the orcs how to throw an axe and flings one of the axes towards them, killing 1 orc. He then dashes into the middle of the group with the other axe in the hand and chops the head off 4 orcs with a single swing. The rest of the orcs look on terrified but decides to dogpile on him. And that is the end of the 3rd chapter.